Today I'm here to discuss a topic that affects black veterans across our great nation, the duality of being a black veteran. I served in the U.S. Navy from 1988 to 1992, and I'm a proud Desert Shield, Desert Storm veteran. I am also a proud and unapologetically black man. Being a black veteran can feel like an internal war. There's a delicate balance that I walk on a daily basis. What is the conflict or the duality, you might ask? Well, let's start with a little history. Throughout history, black veterans were abused while serving this country, not provided the same or equal benefits as their counterparts after service, and used as guinea pigs for inhumane government testing. In the Civil War, black soldiers were not first priority or even called upon to fight until casualties became so enormous that there was no other choice. In World War I and II, black men enlisted to serve their country, but often found themselves being treated more poorly than the prisoners of war that were captured. They would go off and fight in other countries, enjoy the pleasures of being treated like men in those countries, and then return home to reactionary aggression and violence based upon the narrative that these black veterans were somehow hypersexualized for white women and seen as a threat due to their combat training. The most dangerous thing for a black veteran during those times was to get caught wearing their uniform in public. White folks at that time took a black man in uniform as a slap in the face of what their America should be or look like. A black man who fought for America could not even walk through the front door of a local grocery store even while in uniform. Many black veterans were shot, beaten, maimed, or murdered, including removing their genitalia and being lynched. This past football season, a coworker gave me tickets to an Oregon Duck game, which I gladly accepted. I went to the game because I wanted to get the experience of Autzen Stadium live. It never crossed my mind that I would leave that game with more questions than answers. Not about the Oregon Ducks, but about myself. By this time, the controversy surrounding Colin Kaepernick, the flag, and the national anthem had died down a bit. The seats were given were season ticket holder seats, and the cast of people around us were regulars. They were almost all white as well. When the anthem began to play and the flag began to fly, someone yelled out, "Everybody out of their seats. Won't be no kneeling or sitting tonight." I think they meant it as an alcohol-fueled joke, but I took it as a microaggression. I was already standing up by the time the comment was made, but something inside me said, what if I don't stand? I couldn't get into the game the way I'd hoped because that thought stayed with me throughout the night. William Edward Burghardt, known as W.E.B. Du Bois, was an American sociologist, socialist, historian, civil rights activist, Pan-Africanist, author, writer, and editor. When speaking on the subject of blacks in the military coming home after wartime, he was quoted as saying, we return from fighting, we return fighting." Black veterans no longer have to be concerned over whether or not to wear the uniform when they return home. They have to worry about wearing jeans and a hoodie at a local supermarket. They have to worry about trying to financially support their families in an environment where disparities remain in the black community. They have to worry about being seen or not being seen depending upon the moment. They have to worry about being black more so than being a veteran. A famous quote from Muhammad Ali reads, "A man who views the world the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life." I now understand that quote better than most. I remember the feelings I had as a 21-year-old sitting in the Persian Gulf in the midst of a war with mines floating nearby, fires burning in the distance from oil wells that Saddam Hussein lit on fire, oil in the water and on our ship, and smoke filling the air. I remember being scared but excited, knowing that I was in the best military in the world, serving the best country in the world. At that time in my life, it never occurred to me that even when I returned home, that my fight for liberty and justice for all would have to continue. I took an oath to fight to protect this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. At 52 years old, my hope is that this country will someday fight for me against all enemies, foreign but especially domestic. I stand for our flag because I choose to. Doing so doesn't make me any less black or anti-civil rights. If I kneel for the flag, it is also because I choose to. It doesn't make me any less patriotic or have any less love for our country that historically doesn't love me back. I have the freedom to make the decision to stand or kneel because I and so many other black men and women sacrificed for this country so that we all could have the right to make our own decisions freely. This is my duality, and this is my America.